right, and we're back here on the Two Real Buds podcast. It's been a while, the work schedule killing me, but we hate that it'd be a week and a half, until our last episode. But we're back here, and we got a good episode for you guys coming today. We're gonna be talking about the NFL draft and the free agency, all the transactions that are going on today. So I'm gonna bring my co-hosts in here. So with the free agents, we're gonna start with free agency. With the moves that have been done already, what do you think is the most impactful move that has been made so far?
Oh, that's a tough one. Honestly, I'd probably the fucking day the Browns had a few days ago where they just made 3 fucking trades.
Oh, their trade streak? Yeah, they had like 6 trades and like 8 trades in like 24 hours.
Yeah, but the big ones are really the ones that matter. Like Tyrod Taylor. All right, You got a quarterback that can at least win your division. He won't win the North, but at least give you a few games. You have a receiver now, better than Josh Gordon, I think. Mm-hmm. Easily the best slot receiver in the league right now.
Who'd they get for the receiver?
The guy out of Miami, Jarvis Landry.
Oh, yeah, Jarvis Landry. Oh, I totally forgot about it. Damn.
And then they traded Kaiser to Green Bay and got a D-back out of it. So they'll bolster that.
And they can just – I think with them trading Kaiser, I think they're going to go ahead and maybe draft another QB.
I think you have to. With the first and fourth picks, you have to get one.
Either way, there's going to be a quarterback battle in Cleveland coming into training camp and preseason and into the regular season between whoever they draft and, of course, Tyrod Taylor.
Honestly, I think they pick number 1 overall. They'll get Barkley because he's the best athlete and he'll be amazing.
Absolutely.
And then with the 4th pick, you can pick up Josh Allen or even either Darnold or Rosen out of UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
I still believe that Rosen. We'll come back to the Brown situation, but I still think Rosen is still going to go to the New York Giants. People still call me a liar, and I still believe that he is going to New York.
See, I really don't think the Giants will pick that. I think they're going to get a guy like Darnold, where you have, I guess, a more set skill set in that dude. Interceptions don't really matter.
More balanced, versatile quarterback. Yeah,
I think they love their big school guys. Eli Manning came out of Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
I think they get Darnold.
That thread that I was telling you about yesterday of Lamar Jackson, them claiming that Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in the draft. I still think with the film and the combine performance by Josh Allen, he is the best quarterback in this year's draft.
100% with you, dude. 100%. That dude has a rocket arm, and he's like, what, 6'6"?
Stupid accurate, too.
Stupid accurate, stupid tall, stupid arm strength.
And I don't know much about his football IQ, and I don't know if I don't think John Gruden's going to do a QB camp this year because he's a
coach now. He can't.
He's a coach now.
Kind of a conflict of interest for him to do that.
Yeah, he's done. But I think if they do some kind of form of that, it'll show off his IQ. I would like to see what his IQ is. I imagine it. Yeah, of course it's high, but I just want to see what he's capable of calling in the huddle. I mean, of course he's going to call what the coaches call to him, but how he is as a leader, and
I think that's going to take some time to develop, and that's why you get it. That's why you get a quarterback.
That's with any quarterback.
Yeah, but that's why you get a quarterback like Tyrod, somebody who can come in and start day one, and you can let your rookie kind of grow a little bit and learn under somebody who at least has knowledge of the game. Like that's a quarterback that's played New England twice a year for the last 6 years. He knows what's up.
So I got a mock draft up here, and we were discussing this a little bit earlier. So with Cleveland Browns, I think they're the hot discussion this year's draft, of course. They got the first. We've already agreed that they're going to take Barkley. Who do you think they're going to take Allen for?
I don't see why you don't. I think he's the better quarterback in this draft. And when you have a guy like Tyrod Taylor starting, you have an excuse. Like, you have that excuse. Like, hey, you know what? We picked him 4th. Let him grow and develop. Barkley can start day 1.
So with that being said, who do you think that the Broncos are going to take 5? Because that makes it interesting at 5.
Well, they just signed Case Keenum.
That's right.
I don't think they take a quarterback.
Exactly. So who do you think they're going to – what position do you think they'll go after?
Probably O-line. I would think O-line. Their defense is pretty solid. They're a few years removed from a Super Bowl, but I still think they're Super Bowl-ready defense.
So I think either Quentin Nelson out of Notre Dame and then Mike McGlinchey also out of Notre Dame could honestly move up to the 5 spot with what you're saying about – because I agree with you about the offensive line, about Denver tackling the offensive line.
Yeah, I can see him picking Nelson up, but McGlinchey's a very good tackle too.
I think
So,
McGlinchey's very underrated as far as he's a good blindside tackle too.
uh,
But with that being said, we're gonna go slide down. We're gonna put the Browns to the side. We're gonna slide down to the Giants. I still think they take Rosen.
I don't know how much they like Rosen after the combine. He did not have a very impressive combine, and a lot of like.
Well, neither did Lamar Jackson.
I don't think he's a pro ready. I think he played in a pro ready offense in Louisville. I don't think he's that great of a quarterback to pick up that high.
I think he's very much underrated. Of course, at 3, the Colts are going to probably take Chubb if they don't trade down with the Bills. If they do trade down with the Bills, they'll get the 12th and then the 22nd, which I believe is a solid move, which I still think they should do. If they do trade down and get those 2 picks, where do you think the Colts go?
Colts go. They have a lot of holes on that roster.
I say lineman and running back, tackle, guard, and running back.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that Chubb will be there that long for them to keep him at 12. I can see them going line to protect Andrew Luck because Lord knows he needs somebody to protect him.
So let's twist scenarios around. What if the Colts do trade down and they do get this 12th pick and Chubb's still on the board? And what do you think they do then?
Then you're picking Chubb.
Okay, so you pick Chubb. What's coming at 22nd? A running back or an offensive lineman?
Offensive line. You have to get somebody to protect Andrew Luck.
And then I could see that happening. And then they sign in free agency Dion Lewis, which you said earlier was a good observation that he would be a good third back down for Maryland.
I think he'd be a great change of pace running back.
Mm-hmm.
And you already have Mack, who's kind of an unfinished product. He definitely has a lot of room to grow and become a much more elite running back. I think Dion Lewis is somebody you can have on the roster that'll teach him something, one, and two, all right, we need to change the pace up, get him out there.
So what is your favorite offensive and defensive prospect out of this year's draft?
Chubb and that D-back out of Alabama, Minka Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, he's pretty solid.
Those two are pretty solid. Chubb, I think, is really ready to just get in there and start fucking lines up and just putting people on their ass and sacking the quarterback. I think he'll be a great pickup for anybody.
He could be kind of like a J.J. Watt, but he could also drop back in coverage if you want to move him back to linebacker at times.
You could put him at outside linebacker if you have a 3-4 going on.
Yeah.
I definitely think he's a really athletic dude. Strong as shit.
You say 34?
Yeah.
Colts are going 4-3.
Then they'll leave him at the end.
Yeah.
4-3, you got to leave him at the end. And if you have a D lineman, he's great to drop back.
But to take the Colts out of the conversation, any defense, if he goes to a team that's running a 3-4, yeah, he could play both. So what about your favorite offensive?
Offense, I'm all about Baker. Baker Mayfield, I think, is going to be a solid leader in any team he goes to.
You think his ego's ready for the NFL?
Oh, yeah. I think he's fine. I think he's just a competitor. I think there's a lot of, negative skepticism about him, but I think that's just his competitive spirit coming out.
With March Madness being here, I'm going to make this comparison. I made this comparison not too long ago, but I honestly think he's the Grayson Allen of NCAA. Or
of football?
Football, yeah.
No, dude, he's not a dirty player. Come on. He's competitive.
Not shaking the hand wasn't dirty.
I think he's just a competitor, man.
Yeah.
It's not hockey. You don't need to shake anybody's hand. I see where he was. He just took a heartbreaking loss. I'd be pretty mad about shaking hands too.
So your favorite running back and wide receiver prospect?
Barkley. I've watched him for the last 3 years, dude. He's so
Barkley
good.
And Chubb out of Georgia.
So good.
And I think my favorite wide receiver prospect would probably be Calvin Ridley out of Alabama.
Yeah, he's a stud, dude.
Him or this Cortland Sutton. He's pretty fast out of SMU.
See, that's the only thing I know about him, though. He's fast. But I think, Barkley, he broke. How many records did he break? He's faster than Devin Hester, quicker than Deshaun Jackson was.
And he also has the size and forte to be a power back.
And he's strong as shit.
Oh, yeah.
29 reps on 225, dude. That's stronger than some linemen.
Oh yeah.
That
So,
dude was getting it too. Oh my
oh
god.
my god. So, with you being a Pittsburgh fan, we're gonna move down to your Pittsburgh Steelers here.
Dude, there's so many. They need to go defense. They need either a good like inside linebacker, because Shazier is going to be out at least this year. If he comes back, I mean with that spinal injury, I don't know if he's going to be the same guy.
Yeah, if he comes back, that'd be fucking remarkable on his own. But to come back and be at the same competitive level that he was going into that injury, that'd be fucking
insane.
I mean, I hope all the best. I mean, we got the Indy Pittsburgh rivalry going on, but sportsmanship as an athlete, you don't want anybody to come back, and you want people to come back. You don't want people's career being ended, especially over something dirty that happened to him.
Yeah, that I hated that. That was so.
Who did he get hit by?
Somebody from I know it was against Cincinnati. I forgot who hit him, but
it's always fucking Cincinnati doing that
dude,
shit.
That's such a big rivalry now too. Cincinnati's become such a tough team, but I don't want to say they're dirty, but I mean, perfect the way he just lays people out like when he plays Pittsburgh. Every time we play him, it feels like there's an injury.
Speaking of Cincinnati, news flash: Dalton is not elite, and fuck Cincinnati.
Dalton, yeah, not elite yet.
Not elite. I don't think he's ever going to be elite.
I'm not going to say that because last time I said that about a quarterback in the AFC North, he won a Super Bowl. So, yeah.
Well, he had a defense.
He did have a defense, and he was just a good game manager. But now they definitely Baltimore needs a draft receiver. And they have nobody.
And if you guys don't know who we're talking about, we're talking about Joey Flacco.
Joey Flacco and the Baltimore Ravens. 16th pick. They definitely got to go receiver.
Yeah. I can see them taking Ridley.
Yeah. I don't know if Ridley's going to fall back that far. I can see somebody else picking him up, like Washington or even Arizona. They kind of need a number 2 receiver behind Fitzgerald. Yeah.
So let's have a little rant session here. And we were ranting about this earlier. Fucking Kirk Cousins, man, going to Minnesota.
$84 million guaranteed in 3 years.
And he's not proven. I mean, he's good, but he's not proven.
Don't get me wrong. He's a good quarterback. He didn't have any talent around him. But I just don't think he's proven himself enough to be worth this much money.
No.
I get it. Like, it's a passer's league. You need a quarterback to win. $84 million guaranteed. You just went to the conference title. I don't see why you don't at least franchise tag Case Keenum and bring back. I would have brought back Bridgewater.
Yep.
And just kept those 2.
Well, I can see. I'm not saying it's technically right, but I can understand why they didn't bring Bridgewater back. That was a nasty ACL tear.
Yeah, but I mean, his rookie year, he went to the playoffs, beat Green Bay. I mean, I see why you keep him.
If you put Teddy Bridgewater, and people comparing Lamar Jackson to Teddy Bridgewater, if you put them two together, side by side, I would still take Teddy Bridgewater, even after the injury.
He's a better passer. I mean, they both came from the same offense. They both came from the same school. I mean,
and Lamar Jackson's throwing, his accuracy and power look horrible in the combine. And then he refused, and then the dude has the audacity and balls to refuse to run the 40.
I see why he did it. That's just him wanting to say, like, hey, I'm not going to change my position. He's pulling a Tebow. He doesn't want to switch positions. He wants to be a quarterback. I understand that 100%.
But still, look, I mean, every quarterback in the past has ran the 40. I mean, you still got to show, because especially with, he's an option quarterback, and, as an option quarterback, you still got to show off your speed.
I mean, I'm with you, dude, but, I mean, he's proven that he's a good runner in college. He won a Heisman just by using his feet most of the time, but I really don't. I mean, again, I see why he doesn't want to run the 40. He wants to stay away from people saying, like, oh, switch to running back, switch to receiver. I get it.
So, you not with me on Rosen going 2. Where do you think he goes?
With all the pickups, I know Arizona just signed, or they're planning on signing.
They signed
Bradford for a year. I can see him going to Arizona because he only has a year contract. They need to think of the future.
So did Arizona drop Carson?
Carson retired.
Oh, that's right. Carson did retire. So he's done. So yeah, they didn't need a quarterback, and then Case Keenum.
They didn't have it before today. They didn't have any quarterbacks on their roster.
And Keenum's staying out west. He's going to Denver.
I think that's a great pickup by Denver.
Oh yeah.
I think Case Keenum's very underrated.
Especially, I mean, they got him for semi cheap, considering that Minnesota was like, yeah, we're done.
He was in a position kind of like Vince Young was in Tennessee, where he didn't have a coach that believed in him.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole year, it was like, oh, Bradford's healthy, like get him ready to start, get him ready to play. I don't know. There's definitely a lack of confidence in Case Keenum, and he did nothing but win games. He only lost 3.
So out of these top 5 teams that got the top 5 overall picks, we got the Browns, the Giants, the Colts, the Browns again. So we'll add somebody in there for 5 teams. We got the Broncos, and then the Jets got the 6. So out of those 5 teams, who do you think has the most potential to be the most improved team next year?
I don't know. I don't think the Giants will, unless they go.
Yeah, I think
unless they get somebody to protect Eli, because he's been getting roughed up the last few years.
Well, let's rank them. So Giants we'll put at 5.
Oh no! Jets 5.
Jets 5.
New York 4, or Giants 4.
Giants 4.
And I mean, when you go 1-31 in the last 2 seasons, you almost have to put the Browns at 1.
But with the moves they have made,
I mean, so what? They go from 0-16 to 8-8.
That's true.
I mean, that's improvement, I guess. That's 8 games improved.
So we're gonna put Browns at 3.
Honestly, I put them at 1 just because of like the vast improvement they'll make. I think they'll make this year. I don't think they'll go any less than 8 wins. Personally, I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but I can see them having a decent year by Cleveland standard.
Their playoff contention right now is just getting back. Their goal right now is just, of course, every team's goal is to get
to the Super Bowl and win, but I can but their more realistic goal is 500.
Yeah, it's getting back to 500. So so who are you putting at? So we got the Browns at the top. We're kind of all over the place here. So who do you put at 2?
I don't know, because Denver has the elite defense. They have Case Keenum, who can manage a game. Mm-hmm. Sanders and Thomas, who are at least proven receivers with Manning, but that was with Manning.
Sanders staying out west?
Yeah, Sanders and Thomas are both supposed to be kept in Denver.
Okay. But what about the defense? They lost Aqib Talib.
And what was he? He was not the cornerback he was of last season compared to seasons before with Denver. I mean, he went to LA, right?
Who?
Talib. Yeah, he went to LA.
Yeah, he went to
LA Rams. I don't know. I still think they have a great.
That defense is looking scary.
Yeah, but I mean, Denver has a great front 8 too.
Mm-hmm.
And Von Miller's gonna do Von Miller things regardless, day in and day out.
It just depends on what they can do with Case Keenum. Who they got in the backfield?
I want to say they kept the running back they've had. Not Monte
C.J. Anderson.
C.J. Anderson.
So
and the Colts. I mean, you're gonna get Luck back.
Yep.
He's pretty much guaranteeing he's coming back this year for sure. And that's gonna give you a few. He's gonna win games just by himself.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see them improving a great bit and going back to the playoffs with Luck. It just depends on what they make with free agency and the draft. I mean, if they trade down and they get those 2 first-round picks, that helps a lot. I really don't know, man. I mean, like I said, I like Denver's defense a lot. I don't like Indianapolis's defense. And they don't have receivers. They have, 2 on their active roster right now?
T.Y. Hilton, Chester Rogers.
Yeah, y'all need a better receiver than that. T.Y.'s great number 1. Great number 1. You need a number 2 guy.
We need to go after Jordy, man. I'm telling you, we need to go after Jordy.
He's injury prone, man.
He's injury prone, but I mean, what else? I mean, of course, we're gonna probably draft a receiver. And honestly, I am calling up the fucking Oakland Raiders and saying, hey, man, because we can get Griff for really cheap. He's just somebody we can have in there as depth. And people are going to be like, who the fuck is Griff Whalen and all this? I mean, he's played with us. He knows he can get back in our system. He's worked with Luck. He's got some chemistry with Luck. You know, maybe we can move him up into the slot until we can make a move for somebody.
I mean, y'all have always been good about having a good, white slot receiver.
Right.
Like, Brandon Stokely was really great. You've always had good tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I said, it just depends on what moves y'all decide to make in free agency, because right now y'all are kind of slacking.
Yeah, and on my group, a lot of people are bitching that we're not doing anything. But like we were talking about before we started the podcast today, that, hey, greatness is not rushed. I mean, yeah, we can go out there and drop, millions and millions and millions, but I still think with the 79 to 81 million we have in the cap, we have room to make a gamble on somebody. And that's what's going back to Jordy Nelson. I still think we can probably get him for relatively cheap, not completely cheap, but we can put enough money towards him that, yeah, it is a gamble, and maybe he can just be a Band-Aid until we can sign somebody, make a move for somebody.
Oh, that's a hell of a Band-Aid to have, dude. If you can sign him to like a 2-year deal for like, what, $15 million? You have the money to do it. Go for it. Y'all need a receiver. Desperately need a receiver. Because T.Y. can't do it all on his own.
Yeah. Hell no. No one can do it on their own. Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, A.J. Green, I don't give a fuck who's out there. Nobody can do it on their own.
No, I mean, every great receiver has always had a good number 2. There's always been, for like one team's Batman, there's always been a good Robin in receiving core. You need to get a good Robin.
So I honestly, I still think the Colts are gonna get Deion Lewis. I'm now with all the transactions that have happened so far, and free agency ain't done yet, and the draft ain't here yet. We'll get there.
Well, free agency technically just started.
Yeah, exactly. We're not even close to being done with that. So I still think we can get Deion Lewis. And he can go off into the flat for passes, and you got Jack Doyle. We still got a lot of holes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like the line's probably your number 1 priority,
Mm-hmm.
but you need to get receivers
And a defense.
A defense would be nice, yes, especially in that division where you're competing against Houston, who's going to get all their dudes back. Deshaun's going to come back. J.J. Watt's going to come back. I think their linebacker whatever the hell his name is. I think Clowney was hurt for a little bit, if not the whole year. They're going to get their dudes back and be great.
And I'm not a big guy on comparing eras, but I mean, look back to like the 03 to 04 Colts. I mean, they had Marvin Harrison, which was really fucking good. Like you say, we need a good 2 guy. And in that situation, we had Reggie Wayne. So I think if we can just get a 2 guy, like I'm saying, Jordy Nelson, it wouldn't be as bad as it looks. It looks bad on paper, but you draft a guy, and you still pick something up in free agency, and you work through OTAs and minicamp, and then eventually you're up to training camp. It may not look that bad, but I'm not a GM, and there's a reason why I'm not a GM.
I don't know. Your Madden team's pretty solid, dude.
Yeah, well, I got Hilton, Juju Smith-Schuster, Hogan, and Amendola. Yeah, that's a pretty solid receiving corps, but only in a perfect world, right?
Perfect world, yeah. I mean, but we're living in a far from perfect world, bro.
Oh, yeah. So, before we wrap this one up, is there anything you want to add?
Pittsburgh, please draft a good inside linebacker. That guy from UCF's pretty fast. He only has 1 arm. Just, go for
Is that the dude who, put up, stupid good numbers in the bench press at the combine?
I don't think. He was the one that was really fast. He ran like a 4.10. He ran something obscene.
Holy shit.
He ran something obscene. He is fast as fuck, dude.
Oh,
especially for a linebacker. And you can stick him at safety, really. You can tell him, hey, you don't need to lose any weight. Play safety for us. We need that.
Trubisky got a fucking good wide receiver now, and he's got Zach Miller coming back.
I don't know how good Allen Hurts is, honestly.
You mean
is that his name?
Josh Robinson.
Josh Robinson? Yeah. I don't know how good he really is.
Or no, Allen Robinson. Excuse me.
Yeah. Came out of... He was the guy that was hurt for Jacksonville, right?
Yeah.
He was hurt all year? Yeah, I don't know how good that guy really is. But, I mean, it's an improvement for what they had.
And then on the receiver subject, Carolina Panthers got Torrey.
Yeah, Torrey Smith.
I think that whole trade still played in Philadelphia's favor.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they have a great nucleus that's still signed for the next 3 years.
So real quick, before we wrap this one up, do you think Nick Foles is staying in Philly?
Nick Foles, they're trying to really sell high on him. It's pretty ridiculous how much they're trying to get for him, from what I'm hearing. I know they want a first-round pick from somebody.
I think you keep him at least this year because we don't know how good Wentz is going to be coming back from ACLs. Impact people so differently.
I mean, like I said, I think that's why they're trying to sell high on him, so they can get somebody that can at least play backup quarterback, because they've proven how valuable that position
Foles,
can be.
You know, me being captain, me playing the part of Captain Obvious real quick, is the best backup in the whole league.
Doy.
You won a fucking Super Bowl, obviously. So yeah, I think we're going to wrap this one up. So y'all out there, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on that bell notification so you get updates on when we upload, because we got a lot of good episodes, especially on this whole free agency draft. We're planning on doing a live stream for this year's draft for the first round, and then we got March Madness, so there'll definitely be some talk on that. So yeah, with that being said, just like I said, be sure to like, subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.
Love you guys.
Yep, always. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we are out.